Welcome. Here we go with our next signature for our album, and it will go here on this page. This is what I am using for my base page. And once again, it measures at 8 1/4 inches across by 8 1/2 inches in the height. Going to start off with a pocket off the bottom, and I went to my trim to find this. My light's blinking and I'm wondering if it's gonna go out. I'm sorry. Okay, anyway, this I found in scraps, and I am going to use that as the piece to accent this. Now, the total height is sitting at about 2 3/8 of an inch actually from here to here. But once my die was on, it ended up at 2 5/8, not including this little peak. And I'm going to go ahead and get this added in here. And then we're going to get all of our flaps added on. All right, let's work on our flaps. All right, so the one for the right-hand side, including my die, came in at 8 inches. There is a 1/2 inch score and a 5/8 inch score. If you are not using a die, it's going to come in at 7 5/8 of an inch. And it measures 8 1/2 in the height because it's got to match this base page. Okay, so let's get this on. And I want that hinge on the top, on the front, so I'm going to bring my work right up to the 1/2 inch score line. All right, now we are going to make 2 flaps for the left side. Both of them are going to measure 4 1/4 in their height. Including my die, they came in at 8 3/8. Without the die, they're sitting at 7 7/8. You're going to have a 1/2 inch score and a 5/8 of an inch score. And then we're going to bring this all the way to the top, make sure that that's level. Whoops, and I want to be right up next to that 5/8 score line. 5/8, I'm sorry, 1/2 inch score line. Get this back in here. All right. Push back so we can accent. I got stuff on my fingers. All right, and then we're going to make the bottom one. And again, it's the same measurements. And it is going to snug. You're going to bring it right to the bottom, and you should have this slight little gap in here, which will be about 1/8 of an inch. Line these up. And I want to push back to remind that 5/8 score line it's got something it's got to do. Okay, making sure that your bottom is even and that your top is even, we're going to set a couple of magnets. I've already got mine in place. Oh, where'd my other half go? Well, we'll just grab another half. I'll find it. Okay. And I am going to take just a smidgen of tape and put it on the back of both of these. Now, these are going to come over here at this far edge, and that is going to be, I hope, a good placement. Oh, come on there now. Come on, come on, come on. Good placement for the magnets, because we're going to be building a pocket on this here. All right, again, making sure that we are even here, that this is standing up, and that we're even across the bottom. We're going to commit that magnet. And then I'm going to add some tape for stability. Now, I'm going to turn this upside down so that I can see it better. Okay, so this is standing up straight. I'm going to commit that, slide that off. And then I will put some tape on here for some stability. Okay. And there is what you have to work with. Okay, so now let's go to the inside, because that's what I'm staring at here. We're going to work on this piece here. So on this inside piece on the right hand side, I pulled this piece out. This is what I'm using. The reverse side is it's just a beautiful blue, and this is just going to sit right in here like so. And I see some pencil marks I need to erase. Okay, so let's get this glued in. We're going to make a couple of pockets for this page. All right, so you're going to cut a piece that's going to be 7 inches in length by 2 3/8, not including this. So by the time I included that, I added another 1/4 to my overall height. This is going to go on the bottom. This one that's up on the top, not including this, I'm at 2 1/2 inches by 7, and I'm added another 1/4 inch with the die. This is going to tuck up underneath the one that's going to go on the bottom, like so. I want to put this piece on first because I cut it short so I could see where I needed to tuck this in behind. So I'm going to go ahead and get this put in. All right, let's get this. I'm going to do my best not to tack down the corners because I want to tuck that up underneath there. So just in front of that 5/8 hinge to the end of my paper, And then we're going to take this. And I'm going to sneak underneath here. Like so. Oh, that's not. I can see my paper on the edge here. I'm too far this way. And that just kind of does not work well for me. Oh, come on, let go. Didn't think I tacked that down that it would do that. That's a good thing I've got lots of undo. Okay, make sure that's even, and then that's going to tuck in. There we go. And then in the scraps, you've got this piece of the train. There, you don't have all of it, so I'm cut it so that we could see the moving part of the train, which happens to be the bottom half of the wheels. I think it just makes a great accent piece. And we'll sneak this in here like so. Glue showing, there we go. And then you have a strip that says time machine. I cut out the words time machine. And I inked them up, and I'm just going to set them right down here at the bottom. Okay, so that's done, and then you've got a pocket here, and then you have this pocket here. All right, so let's turn this over. And this is the piece that I used to cover the front here. Now, I centered it because I wanted this in the center, and then I trimmed it accordingly. So you're going to take some stuff off on both sides and the top to get that centered. And I'm going to tape this down. It's a significant piece, and I want to make sure that I can get into the magnets if I find that I placed them in the wrong spot. Off. Lining that up across the bottom. I had to mark where my top was, so make sure that I wasn't upside down when I put this on. All right, and then here on this side, on this edge, we're going to make a tuck so that you can put some non-committed items in here, and it allows you to choose the size because you want to keep in mind you've got magnets sitting over here, but this should still accommodate because you've got larger photos because you've got the depth of this and then you have this depth. So this is measuring in at 2 inches by your 8.5 inches for the height. And I'm going to make sure I cover my paper, but not my die. And then this is what I picked for, oh, that's interesting. Oh, but it's actually upside down, it goes this way. Oh, what a nice colorful piece. So I picked this, but in looking at this, this would be actually a nice statement piece. So I am going to choose, because I can, that side. And you can choose whichever side you want. Had I stayed with this, I was going to put one of the small 8x8 small tags to accent it, but with this, I don't have to do that. It's kind of a statement piece all in of itself. Now, this goes to the inside. These are on the outside. So on the outside, because we've got to do this in order to finish what's on the inside, there's my magnet. There is a piece that has North America, and then it's got, this would be South America, just this, I'm trying to read what some, Chile, yeah, so this is South America here. And I trimmed this so that I had the Pacific Ocean or Great South Sea, and tried to keep the majority of the actual country images accented. I just noticed they had highlighted this in orange. Huh. I never noticed that until just then. So that's not something I did. Now, when I trimmed this, I trimmed over here. You're going to have some pieces over here that we're going to use on the flip side. So you're going to cut, let me rephrase this. You're going to cut this right in the middle. There is a squiggly line, I'm going to call it, that they've labeled as the equator or the equinoctial line. You're going to cut straight across that. So you're separating the top half from the bottom half. Then you're going to come in and we're going to trim this side off on both of them so that we're leaving as much of, like I said, the individual countries as we can. And just, I'll give you a measurement of what these were so that you'll know how much my trim was. Okay, so from this edge over to here, these pieces were at 7 1/8 of an inch. So then that means you're cutting off this half. And this half for this piece is the bottom, is this right here. It goes like this. But I had adjusted some trims so that I could set it up here. And then this is the top to this one, and there's some pieces in here in the middle. I wanted this, so there's a strip here in the middle that is cut away on both of these. All right, so now we're going to turn them over. And this one is going to get taped, or if you're using glue, to the top. It says Venus, it's got a gear, and it says North Pacific. And this piece, just to give you an idea, it came in at 4 7/8 from this edge to here. Okay. All right, let's get this bottom one installed as well. I'm beginning to think I'm about to lose the bulb in my lamp, and I apologize if you're seeing that flicker on the video. It's a little obnoxious. All right, now for these two pieces here, we're going to make some pockets. And I'm going to trim off some of this tape. Okay, so the pockets, not including the, well, I'll give it to you, are coming in at 2 5/8 from this edge to here. I'm not including the tip. So 2 5/8 by 4 1/4. And you're going to have 2 of them, and they're going to have the same measurement. And when you put them in, you need to make sure that you're staying in front of that 5/8 score line, that you're not on top of it. this up. Stay just in front of it. There we go. And then the same with this one. And they're the same measurements. My piece I cut for my die is hanging out here over the edge, so I'm just going to trim it off here. Clean off my scissors. I can do this a lot better. All right, so then I went into scraps and I found these pieces. And I always have to stare to make sure, oh, I've got it going right. Okay. Nah, I'm going to stick with what I have here. And then I am taking some of the 8x8 small tags and I'm going to glue them in place. And I'm just going to put them, like canter them a little bit so that there isn't this sterile straight line staring at you. Okay, there we go. All right, so now you have a couple of nice little tucks over here, like so. You've got a nice pocket. You got two pockets over here. We've got a pocket here on the front, and that closes up like this. Now, this, you can just leave it the way that it is, or if you don't like the plainness of this, you can come in and you can add some accents. You're going to have to stick with some of the smaller ones. Let's see here. We got the bicycle. We have this guy here. So you could do that and create some front tucks. And you know what? I am going to actually do that. So if you will bear with me and just follow me along with what I'm going to do here. And then is this going to, nope, it's going to go this way. So I'm going to glue this on. I'm just going to line this up here and here. Okay. And then I'm going to take some tape and I'm going to go across the top, and here I'm going to use skinny tape because we want to maximize these. If we're going to use them as a pocket, where'd my tape go? There it is. Okay, so you can use them either as a tuck, just leave these open, maybe glue tape here and here so that you have a tuck, or you can straighten them out and tape across the top and the bottom and actually make a tuck, a pocket versus a tuck. I am liking the tuck idea. That way it's not permanent. So I'm going to tape here and I'm going to go across the bottom. I at first thought I'd just make a pocket, but I'm liking the idea that this is just a tuck. And then we're going to stick this one on. Okay, I gotta go back and trim that. I'm gonna trim that a little bit more. And then across the bottom. Okay, so there we go. That gives you a couple of nice little tucks that you've got here on the front, and it's all set and done. Let's get the tape set up on the back, and we'll get this placed in our album. Okay, let's put it in. And it will sit like this. I'm going to turn this way. Make sure got it going the right way. Right to the edge. I want to be even here. All right. There we go. We have one more to go and we'll be done. I'll see you on that one. Bye-bye.